Platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket, there are a few others. Predict.it, was using that for a while. These platforms offer the ability to bet on political events, including presidential elections, midterms, cabinet appointments, who's in, who's out, all that Washington, D.C. gossip, and not just for the United States, but worldwide as well. I've been doing this a bit myself, initially out of research for my upcoming book. I was writing about prediction markets and all the different ways that the economy has changed in recent years. And so at first I was doing it for research and then just because I thought it was fun. So a lot of people are doing this in different ways, betting on political events and betting on other events. Sometimes you can bet on, well, I was going to say sports, but that's been around for a while. Basically all kinds of things, celebrity.
Hi there, this is Mitch from Tooele City. I've been enjoying the show and all the fun ideas. Recently, I've been researching platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket, where anyone can bet on specific outcomes like political elections. It's fun and interesting. I think you said something once about how you were using Predict.it. Have you learned anything from that experiment? And do you think this is a viable side hustle for the right person?
All right, this is fun. So let's see. Our listener mentioned Predict.it. Predict.it is where I had just the most personal experience. They may or may not be out of business, either at the moment or soon. They've been operating for a number of years, but the U.S. government a few months ago sent Predict.it a letter saying that they had to shut down. So Predict.it is fighting it, but the outcome kind of remains to be seen. So if Predict.it is not available, there are others, including Kalshi, Polymarket, as mentioned. Kalshi is Kalshi. If you just search for that, or if you search Polymarket or you search prediction markets, betting markets, you can bet on all sorts of things. If you click on markets, you can bet on President Biden's approval rating. Is it going to be higher or lower next week, right? And other people are obviously taking bets both ways. You can bet on the best new artist at the Grammys, the best picture at the Oscars. You can bet on how much U.S. GDP growth is going to be. Will it be 2.5% and higher? Will it be less than that? On and on and on, like so many different options. So some of the tips for betting are going to be the same as for sports betting, or other betting, like be patient, don't rush into placing bets, take your time, diversify your bets. Like don't put all your money on one event or outcome, spread it out over multiple events. And be aware of the fees. So like make sure you understand the fees before using the platform. Just like anything else, these platforms charge fees to operate. And of course, have a budget in mind. How much do you want to, bet in this experiment? $100, $500, maybe more. But hopefully whatever the number is, you have some number in mind. Now, more specifically to political betting, because that's what I was kind of doing for a few months, I've noticed that swings are really common. So for example, in the midterms, for months, I think for more than a year before the midterms, you could bet, are the Democrats going to win the midterms or the Republicans? And you could also bet on the House and the Senate. So there's multiple outcomes there. And I noticed that, from week to week with a different news cycle, things happening, for a while, one party would be ahead and then it would go back to the other party. And so it's possible to profit by betting on those swings. You just take a position one way or another, often a contrarian position, the opposite of what most people are saying. And then, with enough time, often it will go the other way, as I said. And so then you take your profit and then you can do it again. So that was one thing that I thought was interesting. You don't make a ton of money doing it, right? Because you're just maybe like a few pennies per share, and of course you can buy more shares. You don't make a ton of money doing it, but it's interesting for sure. And in the future, I think the reason why it's important to learn about this is because in the future, you'll be able to bet on anything, anytime. Like this isn't totally the case right now. There's still some issues with these platforms with regulation, like with Predict.it being shut down, and liquidity. There needs to be enough people betting enough money in any particular market to make it work. But I think this is coming. So if you learn about it now, you're going to be ahead of the game when it fully arrives. Definitely something that can be fun and profitable for the right person. All right, that's my take on that. As I said, I got a book about this coming out later. Not a book all about political betting, but that's one chapter in it. It's called Gonzo Capitalism, comes out in August. And for now, if you have a question about making money, about your side hustle, about business ideas, whatever it is, sidehustleschool.com/questions. We'll continue to feature them, a new episode every day. It's all completely free. My name is Chris Guillebeau. You're listening to Side Hustle School.
from the Onward Project.